Good morning, lovelies, and welcome to Our Sweet Home Life. I had some viewers, they requested me to do some more sewing projects. So this morning we are going to be doing a sewing project. We're going to be making a baby's romper. And it is going to be so easy to do that even a beginner seamstress can do it. So come join us. Our pattern is a Simplicity 1813A that we're going to be making. And so we're going to be making A, which is a little romper. And this is the fabric that I have chosen. I'm going to use this for the romper. And then it comes with a hat that I'm going to make in another video. And so the hat is going to be made out of this, and it's going to be lined with this fabric because there are in the butterflies little polka dots. And this has tiny, tiny white polka dots. So I thought that would coordinate very well. And then, of course, I have my pink thread. And I have some purple thread that I will be using. And then I have the snap tape and some elastic for the legs. So it's going to be a very simple thing to make. And we're going to start by reading our pattern instructions. It's always a good idea to start with your instructions. I've always found that if I read the directions and get a good overview of what I am sewing, it makes it so much easier. Here we go. For A, we need pieces 1 and 2. So I'm going to find my pieces 1 and 2 after I read my directions and cut the pattern out. Okay, as you can see, we have many options here that we could make. And so we need, according to the pattern, we need 1 and 2, which here they are, to make our little romper. As you can see, there's multiple lines here because we can do extra, extra small, which would be for a newborn baby. We can do extra small, we can do small, we can do medium, and we can do large. And large is 18 months, and the medium is 12 months. So we're going to do the medium, which is the 12 months. So what we need to do is cut around it on the medium line. Just follow the medium line as we cut all the way around. So we're going to start cutting this out. Okay, y'all, I have my little romper pieces cut out. Number 1 and piece number 2. And then I also cut out my elastic guides. This tells you how long to make the elastic to cut it. And that's piece number 3 that goes at the top of the romper. And then this is an elastic guide for the legs. So we're going to spread our fabric out and get it cut out. Okay, y'all. I actually bought 2 yards of this fabric, but it did not call for 2 yards. I just bought some extra. It calls for 3/4 of a yard. That's for a medium 12 months. Okay, guys, I am laying my pattern out on my fabric, and it's always a good idea to look and read and see if you need to place this on a fold, because some fabrics you do need to place on a fold, but this one, it doesn't say anything about placing it on a fold. I believe you're going to have a seam at the front and a seam at the back. But it's always a good idea to check. Let's see if this will fit over there. And sometimes it does matter which way it is, but that's not going to matter. That's not going to work. You usually want to cut your pieces going in the same direction. And you want this arrow to be straight. Always make sure that that arrow is straight with your fabric. So I'm going to put my pin in where that arrow is to hold it straight on the fabric. And the same here. Okay, and then we'll pin the edges, the corners. Make sure you always pin the corners of your fabric. Make sure it's flat on the fabric. Okay, and then we'll do the other one the same way. And cut it off now. I have it pinned to my fabric, so now I'm going to start cutting it out. So we're just going to cut around the pattern. Very simple, very easy to do. Just make sure your pattern is flat on your material. A long time since I have made a baby romper. I'm excited to see it. I know the baby is going to be so cute in it. When my children were small, I used to sew a lot and make them some cute clothes. Okay, now we've got to cut this part out, and we will have our first piece cut. Okay, y'all, we got the first piece cut. See how easy that was? And now we're going to cut our second piece the same way. Okay, y'all, I've got my elastic here, and I have my elastic guides that I have cut out of the pattern. And so I'm going to measure my elastic, how long to cut it. So right there. I'm going to cut that. This is for the top of the romper, and then this is for the leg. So I'm going to cut, actually I need to cut 2 of these each. So that's for the leg. Okay, I cut 2 pieces of elastic, 1 for each leg, the same length. And then I cut 2 for the top, 1 for the front and 1 for the back. So there's my 2 pieces of elastic. Okay, this is my front, and I have read my directions, and they said to start by stitching the front center seam. So I'm going to remove my pattern and lay it over here with the rest of my pattern. And this is the front center seam. So I'm going to turn the right sides together. Okay. So the wrong sides are out and the right sides are in between. So I'm going to take a pin and pin this together so I'll know where to stitch. Okay, I have my petal. Okay, I'm going to start with putting this fabric under my foot, lowering my needle, and pressing gently on the foot pedal. And now I'm going to back up and do it again to secure the seam. I try to go slow, but sometimes I don't. Taking the pins out as I go to prevent breaking a needle. So I have some purple thread on here. My background is purple, so I chose purple thread. So I sewed, and then I backed up in order to secure the stitch. Clip the curve. So this is the curve, and so we're going to be clipping right in here. So what we're going to do is lay those two seams together, and then we're going to take our thumb and hold it on that seam as to not clip too far. And then we're just going to take our scissors and clip into that curve. Okay, there is my front after seaming it. I'm going to press the seam open. Okay, now we're going to do the same to the back. The right sides together and the wrong side up. I'm going to do the same thing on the back, on the center seam. So I'm going to put my foot down, put my needle down. And I'm going to start with my pedal, going slow, and then back up, and start again. Try to go with slow, not too fast. Just nice and easy around your curve. And then you come to the end, and then you're going to back up and go forward again to secure your seam. And then cut your thread. Okay. Okay, that's my seam, my center seam on the back. And in the curve, I'm going to clip it. So hold your seam together. Take your scissors and just kind of clip. Not too deep where you cut your thread. It's going to have to be really careful, but take it and fold those where they're even. Hold your thumbnail where you won't cut too far and clip. Okay. Okay, so I have my romper with the front and the back together, right sides together, wrong side up. And then I'm just going to pin it together on each side. And then I'm going to stitch it together on the side seams. Okay, I brought it over here to the machine. And I'm going to start stitching right here under the armholes. I'm going to take it and lay it on my machine, put my foot down, lower my needle, get my pedal in position, and I'm going to start sewing. And then I'm going to back up to secure my thread and remove the pins as I go. This is just straight seam sewing. Straight stitching. Main thing is to study your pattern before you start. So you'll kind of have an idea of what you need to do. Okay, and then we're going to do the other side. Right here under the armhole. We're going to put our foot down and lower our needle. Start sewing and then back up to secure our thread. And then we're going to gently sew using our pedal, not putting a lot of pressure. Go forward and backward again to secure our seam, and then trim our thread. Okay guys, I have sewed the front seam, the side seams, the back seam, and now what we need to do is put the facing around the armholes. The pattern instructions call for you to use bias tape. Trying to get this folded out here where you can see it. Okay. But what I'm going to do, I do not have any bias tape, so I cut a piece of fabric, just a straight piece of fabric, 1.5 inch wide by 12 inches long. And so what I'm going to do, I had just pressed this down, the edge, and I'm going to go back with my zigzag machine and just zigzag that edge. Have these sewed down. So all I'm going to do now with the right sides together is come up here where this arm starts and just pin it around this armhole section. Just laying it in there and pinning it. I'm back at the machine. Pull your thread. Okay, I'm at the machine and I'm just going to stitch this in. So I have my needle down. I'm going to move that first pin and then I'm going to slowly start. And I'm going to back up. Okay. Now you have to be really careful because this does go curved that you don't get any puckers. So you go slow. Because sometimes it's easy to sew a pucker when you're making these curves like this. So do it easy. And I have the right sides together, the wrong sides up. Pull your fabric taut to try to keep them getting a pucker in it. Everything tight. And then when I get to the end, I'll back up. Okay, I believe I've got one of them done. And I'll just go to the inside like that. And now we'll seam the other one. Put our foot down. Put our needle down. Start gently. And back up. Okay, we have finished seaming our seam for the armhole. So now we're going to clip the curve right in here. So we're just going to take that and fold it. Take our scissors. Your scissors and just clip. Just holding that down where we won't clip our seam. Holding it down and clipping. We'll do this over here a little bit. Just hold that down. Right in here, though, I don't know that we caught everything. Let's see if we did. No, we didn't. Let me go back and fix that. I didn't catch that underneath there. Okay, now let us fold this over here. And hold our finger down. We won't cut the thread. Okay, now we'll do the same on this side. Then I'm just going to iron that seam down and iron it really well. Okay, I have seamed that and ironed it, my facing around the armhole, and I have ironed it back away from the armhole, and I have pinned it. And now I'm going to go in and top stitch around that. My thread back under my foot. Put my foot down. Put my needle down. Back up. I'm going to do this close to that seam. Top stitching around it to hold it all in place. Very careful as you do this so that you don't pucker the material, because this is a curve and it's easy to get it puckered. Drop the pin. Okay, now we're going to have to be really careful. We do this in this curve because it wants to pucker. So you have to hold it really tight as you sew. Keep it all and puckering. I had to lift my foot just then to kind of work it out. Keep it full tight. Okay, and then we'll do the same on the other. Cut our thread. It's starting to take shape like a little romper. So now we are going to make the casing for the elastic. So we're going to turn this down just a little bit and seam right there across on the front and the back. Down here at the top about 1/4 inch and stitch the edge. Put our foot down, put our needle down, and just slowly start sewing. We're going to back up, secure our thread. Open our seam. Ends, backing up, and then we're going to do the other side like the same way. This is just getting rid of the raw edge so we can form our casing for the elastic. Put our foot down, put our needle in. Only turn down about 1/4 inch. We're just going to sew that. Okay guys, I turned that under and sewed the top of that to finish my raw edge on the front and the back. And now I'm going to do the same on the legs. I'm going to take this and just turn it all under. to make that seam, to finish the raw edge, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm just going to turn all of that under, around the legs. Back, and we're just going to go around the garment here, turning it under just a little bit to finish the raw edges. Put my foot down and then put my needle, get my pedal situated, and then I'm just going to start out slowly, and then I'm going to back up to secure the seam. I'm just going to go all the way around the legs. Let me know in the comments what other items you'd like to see me make. After finishing the raw edge, I turned this down and made sure that it was wide enough for me to run that elastic through. So now I'm going to press that really well, and then I'm going to seam it, the front and the back. I'm back at the machine. I'm going to take my threads and pull them back. Take this and lower my foot and my needle. So try to line it up with where I sewed before. Okay. Now then, we're going to press, pedal slowly. And then we're going to back up, then we're going to do it again. I hope the thread didn't break. Okay. Let's keep it sewing. My pins out as I sew. Back up. Okay. Cut my threads. Okay. We'll do the back the same way. Our thread and pull it back. Well, we got that sewed, and now it's time to see which ribbon we're going to use. I have this narrow ribbon. It's a little bit narrow, and then I have this wider ribbon. And I think it's a little bit too wide. And I kind of like this with the dots on it. It has some polka dots on it. Because I'm going to make a hat later to go with this. And see, it has dots. So I'm thinking, even though this is not the same shade of pink, I think it will work. What do you think? Let me know in the comments which ribbon you like the best. I don't have the exact color of this print, the one with the dots, but I think either one will blend. So I'm going to use this one, the one with the dots. Okay, I need 4 pieces of this ribbon, 10 inches long. 4 pieces at 10 inches. So there's 10 inches. And I need to cut 4 of them. That's 1, 4. Okay. And so then I have 2 pieces of elastic. One for the front and one for the back. That I cut according to the elastic guide, and they are actually about 6.5 inches. So now I'm going to sew these ribbons to the elastic. I'm going to center this since these ribbons are not as wide as what my elastic is. So let's go back to the machine. Okay, put my needle down. Okay, so we've got those sewed. These and run these to the casing, so I have a safety pin. I have a safety pin here, and I'm just going to put the safety pin into the needle, into the ribbon, putting the safety pin into the ribbon. Take the safety pin here. I'm going to go into that casing that we made, or at least I say I am. Oh, here it is. That's the casing, and I'm going to run this through the casing. Not always easy when you're going through the seams right here. Okay, there we go. Had to pull that apart a little bit. Plastic through, trying to keep it from twisting. Continue to pull it through. It's at the end, so I'm going to anchor it. And then you kind of adjust your little folds here to kind of make them kind of even across the front. Okay. So now I have the dot like that. And then I will just stitch right here. I'm ready to seam my elastic in. So all I'm going to do is sew right there where I have my pin holding the elastic. I'll put my foot down. I'm going to put my needle down. I'm going to remove the pin. And then I'm going to sew. I'm going to sew it. Pulling it straight so we don't have any puckers. I'm going to put my needle down, and then I'm going to back up and cut my threads. Okay. Then we're going to do the same on the other side and on the back. Okay guys, I have the ribbon and the elastic in on the top. And so now I'm making the casing around the legs the same way. I just finished the raw edge off, and then I measured my elastic to make sure it could fit through where I turned it down. Let me put this one back a little bit. I have this end a little bit too far out. And I'm going to run the elastic through here just like I did at the top on each leg. So let's go to the sewing machine. Okay, got my garment and just going to put the foot down, my needle down, move the pin, and I'm going to start sewing. we'll do the other leg the same way. So I'm just using a pin and putting it one end, and I'm just inserting it inside the casing, and we're just going to go around through the casing to anchor it, and do the same at the other end and on the other leg. Getting the elastic into the casing, and now I'm going to seam on each end where the elastic is. I have that pinned. Back at the machine to secure our elastic in the legs just like we did in the top. So I'm just going to put my foot down, my needle down, take that pin out, and seam over the elastic. Back it up. And I'll do that on the other as well. Okay guys, we're done all except for seaming up the crotch. So we're just going to match up our seam and put a pin and then just seam across that and press it open and we'll be done. If you'd like, you can use snap tape here for easy changing of the baby, but I'm just going to sew it up. Making sure that you have right sides together and your seams aligned. And just sew up, back up at each end of your seam to secure it. And we have finished our baby romper. Okay, that's where we seamed our little seam, or like I said, you can use some snap tape for easy changing. And here we are. We're just going to tie the top, these little ties. Thank you for watching me today as I have made this little romper. It was a real easy project, and I believe that it would be good for a beginner learning to sew. But it's really, really cute. Didn't that turn out cute? And my next project is going to be making a hat to match it out of the same fabric with some pink polka dotted fabric to line it. So be sure to watch that video as well. I have some other videos about sewing that you may want to watch as well on our playlist, Sewing. So check that out. And I appreciate you watching us so much today. Please sure to like and subscribe. And we'll see you next time at Our Sweet Home Life.